Today, Valley Vapors reviews, breaks down, and rebuilds on the Kanger SubTank. Okay everybody, this is going to be the unboxing of the Kanger SubTank. Now, just before I get into that, I want to note that Kanger's changed up their product boxes compared to the ProTank 3s and all of the ProTank series. I really like this. I like that they changed the K that they use. I like that they did this image here. Of course, they're going to have the KangerTech, everything on the bottom. It's just sleek. It looks really cool, and especially whenever you take that red cover off, it still looks cool as hell. Now, to open this one, you just pull it out from the side, and inside you get the pretty big SubTank. This thing is going to be holding 6 mils of juice when you are using an OCC coil, and whenever you switch over to the rebuildable deck, it's going to be holding 4.5. And either way, that is a lot of juice. 6 mils is insane. I've been vaping on one of these for about a week now, and I've maybe gone through 12 mils. I do still drip throughout the day, but I also use the SubTank quite often. It's just hard to empty this thing out. Show you a little bit about this. Of course, you're going to have removable drip tip. Here you're going to have 2 screws. What those are for is actually you have to take this top part off and replace it with the other one that's in the box in order to do the rebuilding deck opposed to the OCC coils. And I'll show you that here in a moment. You're going to have this glass, big, thick, sturdy glass on here. O-rings, which in the first run of these things, these O-rings were too small. That's why I was against them, why we didn't get any of them for a while. These O-rings were small, this glass was spinning, and it was just leaking everywhere. And this is going to be your airflow control ring here. It just turns like this. This is going to be all the way open, where all 3 holes are completely wide open for maximum airflow. For some reason, they allow you to close it off completely. Not sure why they do it, but hell, why not, I guess. You have 1, 2, and of course, as I showed, 3. Some cool down here, and this only applies to the full size. This is not on the small ones, is it has this little spring-loaded pin here down on the bottom. All I can think is that that is simply so you don't have to do much adjusting for it. It's just convenient. It's a little spring load. I'm going to go ahead and take this thing apart for you without taking the top off first. I'll be doing that later. All you do is you unscrew from the bottom, just like any other ProTank, and you are here. Now you can get this glass off by twisting and pulling. This is thick glass. It's very durable, very good. Got this metal framing here. I would have honestly liked for this metal framing to maybe be on the outside of the glass, kind of like they did the AeroTank Turbo. I just feel like this would protect the glass a lot better. But either way, in this newest run, there hasn't been much issue with it. This is going to be your OCC coil, and it just screws into the base just as any other coil would. But this is kind of a complete redesign for Kanger. What they've done is this one is a 0.5. Also in the box you get a 1.2, which I'm getting right now for the most part, is you get a 1.2 as well. And I'll break down what else is in that box momentarily. In here, you can see inside of there, you're going to have your coil, and they use organic cotton. It's pretty much Japanese cotton. They call it OCC. I think they call it organic Chinese cotton, but it's actually the same thing. I've broken one of these down already, and it's the same exact thing. Another little change that they've made is your airflow is going to be coming up through here. So the airflow will come in through here and in and around, which I find completely interesting because now the leads, if you knew how to rebuild pro-tank coils in the past, it's the same concept as you're going to have one lead here and one lead up here, but they actually run through this here and they put the grommet. So just instead of it being enclosed, it's now open for airflow. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one back on here. Now let's get into the fun part. Let's get into the rebuilding. I'll be honest, I have not tried it yet, so this is actually my first go at it. Now, what you're going to have to do in order to make this rebuilding is you have to get a screwdriver and take these off here. You just unscrew them. Here and here. And it just lifts right off. So I'm going to keep these screws here. Of course, do not lose them. And you're actually going to get the other top piece. And I have my screws here where they're safe. Now, there are going to be quite a bit of differences. As you can see, this one's going to be much larger for the OCC, and this one is going to be much shorter. It also applies to the diameter of the inside here. So, as you can see, obvious differences. I'm going to set the tallest one, which is for the OCC coils, to the side, and out of the box I'm going to grab the rebuilding deck. Now, if you've ever rebuilt on K-funds, you'll actually find that this is very, very similar. So real quick, I'm going to go ahead and put these screws back in here. In the full-size SubTank, which is this one of course, it is going to be a pretty good size, and oddly enough, they actually already build coils onto it. I haven't checked the ohms on this, but I'm assuming it's going to be around a 0.5. These are duals, as you can see. And for factory-made coils, these are actually really nice little coils. I gotta give it to them. To rebuild, all you're gonna do is make your coils, whatever coil you decide to do, and you're gonna use these screws here as your anchors. You're just gonna wrap around and tighten down. Now, I am gonna be building something. I want to go low on here to try something out. I want to see how low I can get it and how hot I can get it while still keeping the wicks saturated. So just got to come in here and ruin their factory-made work. And don't lose these screws, but I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a single coil. I'm going to do 24 gauge, probably 6 wraps, see where that gets me. If I can ever get the screw back in here. There we go. Okay, so I got that in there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my 24 gauge, and I'm not going to need much for this one, obviously. Probably going to do way extra here. Get 2 runs on it. Quick clip. Set that wire to the side, and I'm only going to use about this much. So I'm going to go ahead and clip a little more of that. Here at the shop, we always have extra wire laying around, so might as well keep the trend running. I'm going to find the screwdriver that I want to use, and I think I'm going to go with this one here. It looks like maybe a 1mm, pretty small. So like I was saying, I want to try about 6 wraps. I may do a little bit more depending on how it looks. There's 5, 6, yeah, I think I'm gonna go 8, 7, and 8. Just gonna tighten these up a little bit. Compress it in. There we go, not bad looking coil for quick and simple. Just going to clip my leads, not sure how much I'm going to need as of yet. But what you're going to need to do is you're going to need your leads facing opposite ways. So what you're going to do from here, I'm going to go ahead and put this on the deck and set it up on my ohm reader, just so I can have a sturdy base on here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here. So as you see, this coil is going to sit this way. So what I'm going to have to do is get this one here. I'm actually going to try to manipulate the wire a little bit first. I'm going to flatten these out, kind of make little feet for it in a sense, like this. That way that should help me in wrapping these around these screws. So, and that is going to pretty well. I'm going to get this one, and I'm going to actually get this little pair of pliers to help me get a good wrap around it. So that's not bad. I'm just not the best at building on this kind of style, so forgive me for that. But I actually really like what Kanger has done with this tank. Like I said a few moments ago, I really like the style change that they've gone for. I think it's a new direction, which I'm hoping is saying that they are gonna get out of the old tried and true with the Pro tanks, which, don't get me wrong, I love the old tried and true Pro tanks, but it's just the vaping world has kind of gotten past that now, in my opinion. So I'm hoping that this is going to be a whole new direction for them that just leads to better and better things. With the Atlantis that came out, that kind of set up a whole new style of vaping, with those tanks that are built to perform like a dripper. I mean, that caught everybody off guard. I know it caught us off guard, and now this is the answer to the Atlantis from Kanger. So I like that. I like that they went after it and they said, you know what, we're gonna make something too. I like the fact that they, I guess, got aggressive. Now there's some people that say they got a little too aggressive in making 3 versions of this, which I am going to be doing a review for the Mini, but not for the Nano as of yet. It's not something that we have picked up, but they're actually very similar to each other. Just got to get this bent around a little bit and it'll be good to go. Kind of make a little fish hook here. Let me get these pliers over here. There we go. That should give me a good base to screw down onto. Alright, there we go. Beautiful. Now I just need to clip that little lead that's in here. I need to pull it out just a little. Just enough to clip and avoid any shorting or anything like that. So there we go. That's nice, looking good. Let me just straighten up this coil a little bit. Now what you want to do is you want to get this coil sitting nice and even over this air hole that's down in there for the airflow, and just make little minor adjustments as you need to. Like that. I'm going to actually have it sitting up a little high for a lot of airflow underneath. Let's see what this is ohming at. And sure enough, what I just did was got it right back down to where they had it. Now you know how to rebuild on the deck. So now what you're going to do is you're going to get a strip of organic cotton, or in this case I'm going to be using Japanese organic cotton. And what you're going to do is get the cotton here. You don't need too much, you just need to have enough. That's really all. So I'm only going to be using about, I guess, 1.5 inches of Japanese cotton, and I'm going to just pull it apart, get that half, and just send it through the coil. It's really all there is to it. Now there is a certain way to do this and a certain way not to, and I will show you that right now. So I kind of think I might have used a little bit too much, so I'm just going to clip right here, pull a little bit, keep them even. So that should be good right there. And now what I'm going to do is kind of like everybody used to do with K-Funds, and I'm sure they still do. Like I said, I wasn't a big K-Fund guy, but I did do a few builds. So I'm actually going to bunch this up, and I'm going to put this around it. Now the reason that I do that is I'm actually going to come in here and I'm going to be using my soaked up, messed up label, but this is Pandemic from the shop. Really, really good flavor. It's got just a bunch of goodness in it. It's got some gummy bears, it's got a little strawberry, got a little mandarin for a nice little sour kick. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to saturate this decently well on top. Do the same thing over here. So get everything nice and saturated. And then I'm just going to get the smallest screwdriver that I have, which is what I use for wicking and everything like that whenever I'm rebuilding, no matter what it's on. And you're just going to tuck that down into those little channels. Because down here, you're going to have juice flowing through here to absorb into here to keep this cotton nice and moist. So I'm just going to stuff this down in there, about like that. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and put this top on here. This juice will allow me to get a good grip on it. There we go. And you're going to fill, obviously you can't fill past this here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So, alright, and I got that about full, so now I'm just going to come down here and put it back together. Get her nice and snug, snug-a-lug, and turn her over. All that juice will fit back down in there. Alright, so here we go. I have her on the Sigeli 100 watt. Got the 0.5. I'm actually vaping on it a little bit right now. Kind of did some dry pulls. It's wicking really, really well. I found a sweet spot at 24 watts that I really, really like, with airflow all the way open. Here's 24 watts and a 0.5 rebuilt SubTank. She's vaping really, really well. Flavor on this thing is absolutely amazing. It's really, really good. It vapes really well. And it's really good clouds. I mean, I'm sure I could turn this thing up a little bit to maybe 26 or 27. I'll just go 26.5, just meet in the middle. Yeah, really, really good clouds. So let me get one of those that's not just a good camera angle, and maybe you can see better. That's a good one. So, as you can see, it works really, really well. The SubTank here in the box, just one extra little thing that I'd like to show you, is the beauty ring. And that's just as any other beauty ring will work if it's not going to sit flush. And you don't like that slight little overhang, like on here there's maybe half a millimeter on each side, so you got maybe a total of 1 millimeter of overhang. Inside of there you also get some Japanese cotton, you get a little screwdriver, a couple coils already built, and some extra O-rings, which is great. I have heard that they are making these O-rings in other colors now for order, which would be really cool. Maybe if you have a black box mod, you put like some green on it and you want green. I've heard that you can. I'm not 100% sure. If there is such a place that you can get those, I'll link it in the description below. So yeah, that's been the review for the Kanger SubTank. Hope you enjoyed the video. I really like the feedback that I'm getting from you guys, whether it be good or not so good. That's just going to help these videos get better. I'm going to be doing some more videos in the like vlogging style, less product review. I'm going to be doing some tutorials and just a lot of different things. Come in, grab a SubTank. From all of us here at Valley Vapors, keep calm and vape on.